I want to talk a little bit more about the person who is on a new spiritual journey and trying to put away all of the past misconceptions and bad programming and generational curses and everything else and trying to live a better life. This is going to be another tip on defending yourself. Always keep truth inside of you. Always remember the backstory. I know this kind of flies in the face of what a lot of people say, well, it's the past is over with. Don't get me wrong, the past is over with, but there are certain things about the past that you need to keep in order to prevent making mistakes in the future, if you get what I'm saying, okay? If it's a situation where there was more than one party involved, I was always told it takes two to tango, and that's true. You can't tango by yourself. No, if you don't know what a tango is, it's a dance. It's a classic dance that's been around for, at least 100 years that people use in, form ballrooms and things like that. So for those of you who don't know what a tango is, Google it and you'll see. And you'll see it's a two-party thing. You can't tango by yourself. You have to tango with somebody else. And that's the way a lot of situations are in life. They're tangos. So you're in a new position now. You're walking a new path, and then all of a sudden, out of the blue, here comes the past people from the past. Now, that people are going to react either one or two ways when they see your new reality. Number one, they're going to try to come hop skipping in like everything is A-okay and ain't shit to talk about. And all of a sudden, the first thing that they're going to say is, oh, it's the past, I'm going to let it go, and I accept it, and it's over with. But then there's a part of you that's inside like, wait a minute, motherfucker, you was involved in this too. Where's my damn apology? So I'm kind of in that point right now. I'll sit and I'll listen to people, and I don't wholeheartedly have these people as an active part of my life for that reason. But yeah, I kind of have that mentality right now. I'm like, okay, yeah, I see what kind of game you're playing, but I still ain't get an apology for your role in this shit. Okay? And sometimes you got to let them know. If they ask you later on, how come we're not that close anymore? Okay, well, yeah, you acknowledged the fact that I made these changes and everything, and I appreciate that. And I appreciate the fact that you are trying to be Team Deanna. But did you forget that you have a role in this thing too? You have a role in this thing too, and I'm kind of waiting for you to acknowledge that. So, you have those type of people trying to sweep it under the rug. Because, see, they don't want the spotlight placed on them after the truth comes out. And they're kind of hoping in the back of their mind you won't get into that. So what they're doing is they're placating you and trying to keep you calm because they don't want you to go into detail as to what really happened during the process. Because you remember some of those things. And the second type of person is the one who has the bitterness in their heart the whole time. They refuse to see the difference. Their brain is still stuck on day one. And here it is, day 3001 or 7001. It could be years after the fact, but they are still licking fresh wounds. They're still feeling the pain as if it happened yesterday. They moved on in their life somewhat, but spiritually they're still there. They're still 2 years old. They're still 6 years old. They're still 5 years old. They're still 10 years old. They're still 11 years old. They're still living in their mind when it comes to their relationships. They're still in their mind living the same day where that pain was, and it's never been addressed. So what they'll do is they sit there and they use that pain as a means not to deal with you. They refuse to even acknowledge your truth. They refuse to acknowledge that you are even sharing and helping with people. They refuse to acknowledge that you are prospering. They refuse to acknowledge that you're looking different and acting different and speaking differently than you did 5, 10, 15 years ago. They refuse to acknowledge those things. And to make it even worse, they're still sharing their pain with every person within their circle. Still playing the victim. And have not acknowledged their role in the situation either. It has always been your fault in their mind. Anytime that anything goes wrong, if it's a flat tire, it's your fault. If the dog peed on the rug, it's your fault. If they lose their job, it's because they have issues in regards to you, it's your fault. You wasn't nowhere near none of these situations. You ain't got shit to do with the dog or the car, things that they chose, the job that they applied for. You ain't got shit to do with it, but it's your fault. And unfortunately, they got at least one or two people in their camp that believes that shit and will sit there and will be their cheerleader. Yeah, so they did so and so. They sure did, and that's how come you couldn't do this. Oh yeah, I understand. They did so and so, and the whole reason why is because your daddy did this, and your mama did this, and your grandma did this, and your uncle did that. Every single thing that went wrong in your life, no matter how fucked up you were and how wrong you were, no. It wasn't you. Because see, the reason why you did this was because that relative did it. Stop giving that person so much damn responsibility for your fuck ups in your life. At what point in your life are you going to let that shit go? I can speak from experience because I was one of them damn people. And then you always have that one person in the group who's the bleeding heart. And y'all know how I feel about them bleeding heart people. Those are the most ignorant motherfuckers I ever seen on this earth. Them bleeding hearts. You see that shit in politics. These are the people that are picking up a picket sign every time there's a problem and don't know what the hell's going on. They investigated the backstory. They have not even spoken to the parties involved. They haven't even sat down and watched anything. They just sitting up there with the pen and the marker, just writing signs. And half of their asses can't even spell what they need to spell. And they sitting up there every week. They on City Hall steps. Don't even know what the hell's going on. And then you got people like you and me sitting up there looking at them thinking, what, do these people have jobs? I'm not going to say that. And these are the bleeding hearts. Anytime, and people and people who are hurt seek out these folks because they want sympathy. They're thinking in their mind, let me tell you how messed up programming is. When you start having this pity party, instead of doing the work to try to acknowledge and try to bridge the gap, you want to run away and complain and cower and boo-hoo cry and everything else. But you don't want to bend and accept the new information. You're like an old computer. You're like a Commodore 64 when we're living in a Windows and Apple world. You have no place. And you're sitting up here, you're seeking out people who can sympathize with you. And then after a while, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. Those same people, they're going to start paying attention to your behaviors. And they're going to start questioning, wait a minute now, okay, now this person says that their father is that bad. But I don't know, I've been around them for a while and they kind of got some ways and I'm trying to figure out, okay, I mean the father might have been a factor, but the bottom line is that, this person's living with me, this person's working for me, and father or not, I got a house to run and they're not helping me pay no bills. Father or not, I got a business to run and they're not coming to work on time to help me make this money. Father or not, they're not coming to class, but they want to take up all my time and try to finagle a good grade. After a while, people are like, I got shit to do. And I'm kind of at that point in regards to some people in my life. It's not that I don't care about them, but I got shit to do. And back in the past, I used to let my guilt allow for these people to play these pity parties because I'm like, okay, well, I understand so and so. But damn, I missed out on some opportunities. And then I found out it was a pattern with these people. They're kind of burning through folks. Be careful how you present yourself to people, because if you present yourself like a bleeding heart, people are going to get tired and they're going to be like, you know how they are. That's a routine. It becomes a routine and nobody's going to take you seriously and you'll never get the help you need. Go get some help to address it. Now, there's a situation where there's somebody that's close to me who has a problem with being, problem with, health issues and psychological issues associated with health issues, okay? I pray that they're well. I pray that they get well in more than one way or another. Getting help? Good. Get the help. I had to get the help. And sometimes you got to take these journeys alone. But make sure you receive the help and be the mindset to receive the help. Because as long as you got that anger and frustration and all those negative feelings inside of you, that help is going to do no good. You have to be receptive to help. So to the people who are trying to make it happen, what's done is done. You're trying to make it happen. You're trying to help people. You're moving on a new path. You got opportunities left and right. You have a stronger spiritual connection. Kudos to you. But one thing you're going to have to do is learn how to defend yourself spiritually against the people in the past who refuse to accept your new reality. Because they're going to come for you. Because they're still in pain. Because they're still hurting. And there's a way to do that without going back to the old you. Now, don't get me wrong. You have to go back into that old bag of tricks. And for some of you who haven't watched the video, because you know I got to plug this, you got to listen to the video, That Old Bag of Tricks, because sometimes you got to reach in that old bag of tricks in order to defend yourself. Speak to your higher power first and do it in a way where you know that something good is going to come out of it. And usually the best way to do it is the truth. The backstory. Present the present the backstory. I'm just waking up, people. So I kind of